Okay, from homecoming week activities, we move on to the next item, not quite as fun. Preliminary third Friday enrollment update.
So I did indent for you the numbers that were current as of today. So let me just hold on a second. And if you compare these numbers to what we had shared with you last month, we continue to decline in enrollment. So we are seeing probably the most significant decreases at the secondary level, at the middle school and the high school. So I think we can anticipate probably being down anywhere from 40 to 70 students this year, which creates some more difficult financial situation for us. Would you like to comment on that at all?
No. We don't have a lot of control on who shows up on the third Friday count, so we'll just continue to hope for the best on the third Friday count, and hopefully I've developed a budget that will be able to accommodate whatever decrease we have. We do know that our decreases are based on a 3-year rolling average. I guess what's most discerning about it is we're hoping, and I guess I've stated this, is that this will be a telling year for the Tomerri School District as far as where enrollments are going, and it's continuing to show a drop. So we'll just have to wait until it starts to level out and see where things are going here. I haven't had a chance to look at it, and third Friday count is coming up
this Friday,
so we'll know more at the October board meeting.
I know in speaking with Mary, she had said that it seemed like we lost a number of students to Sparta, and she wasn't sure if that had to do with housing at Fort McCoy that is existing, that's been set up or not, but that seems to be where the drop has come from.
Colonel, did you have something to add?
I can address that.
Yeah, great.
I don't know to what degree the drop in numbers would be attributable to the military, but it would make sense that there would at least be some of that would. Obviously, we no longer have the mobilization mission that required the large numbers of soldiers that were here on what are, in essence, were mobilization orders themselves to support that mission. Those reservists that were on permanent orders for a year or 2 or 3 in order to support that mission have since, of course, gone back to their normal drilling status and gone back to wherever their permanent home was and pulled their families with them. So that would be part of it. The South Post housing area, that is not a housing area construction project that was due to growth. We're steady state on the military permanently. It's a migration. And it's a migration that is based on the loss of the 801 housing that was here in Tomah. Now, as you know, my predecessor did pursue to get an exception from the Army to keep that 801 housing, but the United States Army is out of the leased business. They just don't do it anymore. So that was not renewed, and because of that, the housing assessment done by the Army in 2010 had determined that we needed a certain number of homes added on to Fort McCoy's South Post housing area to make up for what over time would become a loss of dedicated housing. Now that housing's still there, and we actually have quite a few soldiers still living there, and that probably won't change, other than gradually over the near future. Now the good news, I guess, on this is it's not going to be a permanent huge loss, because the housing survey, when these folks come out and do this about every 5 or 6 years, what they're doing is they're looking at what is the baseline of the quantity of acceptable family housing by Army standards, because the Army always, it's cheaper for them if we live in the economy as opposed to building homes. And then they look at what our need is, what's available, and what's the delta. and the delta was determined to be 132 homes. Many of them were already built down there. We have 57 right now, but they only built out to 90%, so the end state will be 120. So what you're going to see ultimately is a migration. We had, again, 57 out there already. You're going to see another 53 homes being built here in the next year, and then 10 more sometime in 18. That's pipe dream with the way things are looking on the resources right now. They may or may not happen, I don't know. But worst case, it ends at 120, so you're looking at a total migration of about 63 families that used to reside in 801 housing sometime in the future have now migrated over. Now, again, that's not instant, you understand. Many folks will elect not to make a one-year move. They're quite happy where they are paying the rent, and they're great homes anyway. But over time, that will eventually happen. And those are homes that would have been here. So absolutely, some of those family losses over time are going to be attributable to a military migration, and some are on the short term because of the loss of the MO mission and that large number of temporary workforce, and that's always what it is with a mobilization mission. Mobilization missions are because we're at war, and thank God we're not ever in a perpetual state of war. Those things come and those things go, and those folks have, of course, since gone. Okay. I don't know if that clarifies a picture or not.
It comes to mind that some of this migration, if parents want to remain in the Toma School District, they obviously have that choice through open enrollment. But I wonder if that's difficult because of transportation. So I'm wondering if maybe that's an area that we could have some discussions about collaboration on if
Yeah,
parents...
I don't know what the rules are for the state for choosing districts. I'm not familiar with that, but yeah, we're open to any conversation. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, thanks for the background, Colonel. I guess, these enrollment things are somewhat out of our control, but it's still nice to have some sense of what factors are involved, just to help us try to forecast or identify some trends. So
The one thing I would keep in mind, when you're looking at this count, is we're looking at the third Friday as a FTE count. This is looking at purely a one-to-one or a physical body. So there is a difference on the FTE count, so we'll want to make our comparisons using third Friday to third Friday, and then you couple that with kids coming in and kids going out when you're looking at open enrollment and things like that. So we'll just kind of wait and see how this transpires. So I'm not going to get too knotted up until
we actually
FTE
see the numbers. Is the more important than
the third Friday count is the FTE count that everybody in the state has to complete, and based on the total number of FTEs that we have in the school district, at that point in time we are given a X amount of dollars, approximately $9,000 per student. And then on the revenue limit sheet, there is a declining enrollment exemption. This would have been our last year with that declining enrollment, but as enrollment continues to drop, you will continue with the declining enrollment exemption. I think what we're hoping for is to see a leveling off so that we can move past and see some sort of baseline here that continues for 3 years so that we can start picking up dollars on the revenue limit. But until you get through the declining enrollment, it will continue to struggle with dollars. There's just no question with that. And once you hit that bottom, the first 2 years after that are probably the most difficult. That's why you're looking at next year and the following year as part of that is due to that declining enrollment.
Okay. All right.
So that will change all the predictions and assumptions, everything that we've done up to this point, and we knew that, but that's why you do those things.
Okay. All right. Thanks for the report.